So for the first question here, things to take note is that the denominator will be the total weight of tomato plus grapes. So tomato plus grapes is actually 200, and the numerator part, as mentioned by the question, it is 80. Hence the results will be 2/5. Write down the ratio. Okay, so 120 to 80. Just simply key in into the calculator. 120 divided by 80. You will get 3/2, which translates to 3 to 2. Question B. So 28 kg multiplied by 1.56. Then you will get the money he received for selling orange, whereby for 35 kg of apple, the unknown will represent the price per kilogram. So add these two up, your results in 86.38. Run your manual calculation, you should get your price per kg for apple as 1.22. At part B, number 2. Okay, key things to take note, the 1.56 is the new price after the original price increases by 120%. Okay, so run the calculation. Your original price is supposed to be lower, which is $1.30. Question C. So 667 minus 314.2, then divided by 10.5 hours. Then you can discover that the rate of profit per hour will be 33.6. Question 2. Key things to take note. Find the acceleration. We will be using the coordinates 0, 0 and 45 here. Run the gradient calculation. Your acceleration will actually be 1/8 meter per second squared. To calculate the average speed, you're required to get the total distance first. Okay, total times you're not required to calculate that because it is actually the 120 second. So the top is 60 with a bottom of 120. Add these two up, divide by 2, multiply by the height of 5. Then you will get your results as 450. Hence the average speed, 450 divided by 120 equals to 3.75. Question 3. Alright, find the curved surface area of the cone. Simply takes pi times 5 times 13. Okay, the slant height here is actually the L represented over there. Hence it is 65 pi, which translates into 204 cm squared. For you to find the perpendicular height, we will be using the Pythagoras theorem concept. Okay, so 13 squared equals to h squared plus 5 squared. Run the shifting, get rid of the square at the h. You will get your results as 12. Section 3. Basically, you're just required to fill up the information. Okay, then you will get 1/3 times pi times 5 squared times 12. You will get 100 pi. This 100 pi here will translate into 314 cm cubed after rounding it to 3 significant figures. Give your answer in cubic meter. So things to take note is 1 cm cube is actually 1 cm times 1 cm times 1 cm. Hence, 1 cm is actually 0.01 meters. So 0.01 meters cubed will get you 1 times 10 to the power of negative 6. So take the 100 pi that you have gotten earlier, multiply it with 1 times 10 to the power of negative 6. You will get your results as 3.141592654 times 10 to the power of 4. After rounding it to 3 significant figures, you will get 3.14 times 10 to the power of negative 4. Question B here. Alright, so the things that is repeating here is actually the circumference of the circular base of the cone. Okay, so 2 times pi times 5 equals to 10 pi. So this 10 pi here will then be transferred to the arc length of AB, which is 10 pi. So the OA is 13. Okay, so for you to calculate the sector angle of AOB, simply set it as unknown, divide by 360, times 2 times pi times r equals to 10 pi. So after the calculation and rounding the answer to 3 significant figures, you will get 138 degrees. Question 6 on the other hand, okay, first thing we'll be using alternate angle concept, which transfer the value of 40 degree to BDC. Okay, then the next thing for you to identify DBC is actually 180 minus 40 minus 32 equals to 108. For you to calculate angle AD, okay, we'll be using cosine rule. Okay, 55 squared plus 70 squared minus 2 times 55 times 70 times cosine 40. Okay, square root the answer, you will get it as 45 meters. Whereby for you to calculate BC, we will be using sine rule for this particular question. Okay, so the angle sine BDC over BC equals to sine DCB over DB. After the rearrangement, you will get your final calculation results as 84.9. Question 7, finding the area of the playground. So since it is an irregular triangle, the easiest way to calculate this will be using half AB sine C. Okay, so fill up the information for both of the triangle there. You will get your final results as 4060 meter square. An accurate plan of the school is to draw the scales of 1 to 200. So this 1 to 200 here is actually 1 cm to 200 cm. Whatever that we have calculated earlier is actually in meter square. Hence, 1 meter square is actually 1 meter times 1 meter, and the 1 meter translate into 100 cm times 100 cm. So 1 meter square will be equivalent to 10,000 cm square. So what I did was to take 4060 meter square multiplied by 10,000 cm square, then divide it by the scale, okay, of 40,000. The calculation is attached at the right hand corner of this question. So we will get your final answer as 1015 cm square. If you were to round it into 3 significant figures, your results will be 1020. Question D. BD divides the playgrounds into 2 areas. Calculate the shortest distance from A to BD. So we'll be focusing at the triangle that I've drew over there. Okay, we have 40 degree, we have AB's value, and the shortest distance is actually the opposite of 40 degree. And the 55, a hypotenuse of 40 degree. So sine 40 equals to unknown over 55. Sine is actually 35.4. Question 5. So for this part, okay, draw a reflection of triangle T at y equals to 5. So the attached will be the answer for that. Draw a rotation of 180 degree on 4, 2. So I label it as T double image. For part 3 and part 4, this topic, however, was then removed from the syllabus. So no worries if you don't know how to solve part 3 and 4. For question 5, part B, position vector of Q simply represent OQ. Okay, so two things that are labeled into the graph will be PQ's value, which is 2s, indicated by PQ equals to 2OS. And the other one will be OP equals to 2RQ. So RQ's value will actually be half P. So for you to find position vector of Q, simply takes OP plus PQ. Your results will be P plus 2S. Whereby for SR, it will be SO plus OQ plus QR. So SO is actually negative S, OQ is what we gotten earlier, P plus 2S, and QR itself will be negative half P, because take note that RQ is half P, hence QR is negative half P. So your final answer for this question will be S plus 1 over 2 P. Explain what your answer in part B tells you about OQ and SR. So this information indicates that the two lines are parallel to each other and OQ equals to 2SR. Question 10, pretty straightforward. Okay, find F bracket 2. So the 2 inside there actually represent X. So when X equals to 2, okay, your Y's value will be 1.5. For the next one, solve the equation fx equals to 0. This one is when y equals to 0, your x will be 1.2. Whereby for section 3, write down the value of the largest integers that has 3 solutions. So anything that is less than negative 0.8 will get you 3 solutions. However, for the largest integer, which is whole number, your answer should be negative 1. So by drawing a suitable straight line, solve the equation fx equals to x. So this one basically means y equals to x. So let's say when x is 1, y will also be 1. Hence the line I drew over there. And the 3 intersection point here will be negative 2.2, negative 0.85, and 2.3. But for section B, number 1, first thing that I calculate will be h bracket 3. The result of it is 8, hence I substitute 8 into g, x position. which get you 1 minus 2 bracket 8. After the calculation, you will get negative 15 as the answer. For you to find G inverse, always the 3-step solution. Change gx into y, swap x and y with each other. Then step 3, rearrange to identify your new y. So new y here is 1 minus x over 2, and this 1 minus x over 2 will be your G inverse. For section 3, hx is actually x squared minus 1 equals to 3. Shift the 1 to the other side, x square root 4 equals to plus minus 2. Section 4, so I substitute gx into x position of the function g. Then I will get 1 minus 2 bracket 3x, and this is equals to 2x. After the calculation, you will get your x as 1 over 8. Question 7. Okay, to calculate the mean, first you need to identify the midpoint of each of the intervals, which is 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55. Multiply it to its respective frequency, divide by the 120 students. You will get your final results as 24.7 after rounding it to 3 significant figures. For you to calculate cumulative frequency, those who are less than equals to 20 is actually 44 plus 6, which is 50. For those that are less than 30, simply takes 50 plus 40, you will get 90. And for those that are less than equals to 50, simply takes 104 plus 10, you will get 114. So plot down the points and draw down the graph below. Okay, and answer these 3 questions: median, lower quartile, and 60th percentile. So median, 120 students times 50%, you find the 60th value as 22 seconds. For the lower quartile, takes 120 times 25% equals to 30th, which is 16.5. As for the 60th percentile, simply takes 120 times 60%, you will get 72. So from 72, you draw it down, you will get 25. At part C, use the information in the frequency table and draw the frequency density diagram. So for the group between 0 to 20 is actually 50, and for the group 30 to 60 is actually 30. Use the group of 20 to 30. Use their frequency, divide by the class interval to check whether there's skill factor involvement or not. So the direct results with 4, which indicated in the graph, which means the absence of skill factor. So just run the calculation for the remaining value. You should be able to draw it as 2.5 and 1 respectively. Question 8a. Okay, pretty straightforward. We'll be using the quadratic formula for this question. Your A is 8, B is negative 11, and C is negative 11. Substitute it into A, B's, and C's position. You should be able to get your answer as 2.05 and negative 0.672. For part B, varies directly. okay, to the square root of x. So y equals to k square root x. Key in the value of 18 and 9 into x and y's position. Your k's value will actually be 6. So for the last part, to find the value of y when x equals to 484, okay, your equation now is y equals to 6 square root x. Substitute 484 into x position, you will get your final results as 132. For section C, okay, so the x over 2.5, okay, indicates how many pens you can buy, whereby for the other one, which costs 50 cents each, so x minus 14.5 over 0.5, so these two add up the numbers will results in 19. So to change their denominator to the same, I multiply 5 to the one with a denominator of 0.5. Okay, repeat the same for the numerator and denominator. You will get your results as x plus 5 bracket x minus 14.5 over 2.5 equals to 19. So your final calculation will get you x as 20. Question 9, okay, so find the inequalities of L1, L2 and L3. As usual, I will find the L1 first because rule of thumb for identifying inequalities will be doing the horizontal and vertical line first. So L1 is actually y more than equals to 2. L2 here is pretty straightforward. All you need to do is to find the gradient because the y-intercept, which is c in the line formula, is 0. So the gradient will get you 2. The next step is for you to identify y is actually less than equals to 2x. So this one will be the inequalities of L2. L3, the line already give you that the c is 5 because the y-intercept is 0, 5. So identify the gradient as negative 1 over 2. You will have y equals to negative 1 over 2x plus 5. And the other thing is y is actually less than equals to negative 1 over 2x plus 5. So this one is the inequalities results. So section C, 30x plus 200y equals to 720. So at the coordinate 4, 3, okay, you'll be able to identify the total cost as 720. As for find the total numbers of bushes and the numbers of trees which give the greatest possible cost, this one will be 2, 4, which is 2 bushes and 4 trees, which results in $860. Question 10a. So identify the next pattern of this. Okay, it will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equals to 15. So the sum of the first n diagram and show that k equals to 2. So when n equals to 1, substitute 1 into everything. You will get 2 over k equals to 1 and k equals to 2. So that's how you prove it. So if you were to use n equals to 2, then your equal sign will get you 3. Find the sum of the first 60 integers. So 60 over 2 times 61, you will get 1830. And find the diagram equals to 465. So run your calculation. You should get n squared plus n minus 930. So you will get n minus 30, n plus 31 equals to 0. So your answer should be n equals to 30 because your first n integers cannot be negative. So for part number 4, I'm using the geometric sequence to identify the answer. So 2a equals to the bottom row's value of 1. So a equals to 1 over 2. As for 3a plus b equals to the triangle, okay, which is second row's value. So your b equals to 1 over 2 as well. A plus b plus c equals to 1, which is the star value over there. C equals to 0. By substituting 1 over 2n squared plus 1 over 2n, you will get your results as n squared plus n over 2. So n bracket n plus 1 over 2 is your final results. So your x here will be n minus 8 and your n minus 7 will be n plus 1. So this is what it is trying to show you. But for section B, so everything was being cubed. So your 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube plus 4 cube plus 5 cube will get you 225, and this one is actually 15 square. So basically, you just square the entire equation that you had gotten earlier. Okay, the n bracket n plus 1 over 2. You square it up, then you get n squared over 4 bracket n plus 1 square. So for the first 19, basically substitute 19 into the equation, then you get 36,100. So thank you for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. If you have friends that are struggling, feel free to share this to them. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming examination. Thank you.